Zeppelin Games Budget Gems for your Atari 8-bit computer and 400 mini coming up next. Zeppelin Games released 19 titles for the Atari 8-bit computers from 1988 through 1991. Another budget software house like Atlantis in the previous video that catered to the new market opened by Atari's successful promotion of the XC and especially the XCGS in Christmas 1987. Zeppelin's budget games were known for demo scene style title screens, music, and graphics, and unfortunately also the make it difficult so the player thinks he got value for his money Euro game design that came with it. Of the 19, we have previously covered Cavernia, Fred, Mirax Force, Mission Shark, Phantom, Sidewinder, and Zebex, all games that you should already be playing on your Atari 8-bit or your 400 mini. Of the 12 we have not yet covered, we feel the following 9 games should be added to the list of gems to play on your Atari 8-bit computer, 400 mini, or emulator of choice. Of the 3 that I left out, Kenny Dalglish's Football Manager and World Football Manager are simply because these types of games only appeal to a very limited audience. But if that is you, you should take a look. Speed Ace was also left out. It's a decent racing game, but much better games for the 8-bits are available, although motorcycle racing games are very rare. Arcade Fruit Machine was released in 1990. Atari Mania fans have given it a score of 8 out of 10. CV&G magazine, when reviewing the Commodore 64 version, said it had nice graphics and a load of features that makes it one of the best fruit machines around. I have to admit that I was expecting a USA Las Vegas style slot machine, but it seems like UK fruit machines were slightly different, and the C64 manual I found did not seem to relate to the Atari 8-bit version's controls at all. Still, this one is a high quality sim all around and recommended for anyone to take a look at and try and play. Load it up just to see the demo scene style, title page, music, and graphics. Atari Mania users gave Blinky's Scary School from 1990 a 7.6 out of 10. Page 6 magazine liked it a lot. They called it an impressive, top-notch game. Blinky is an honest, fun platform adventure with a little gross-out humor. Zeppelin filled some gaping holes in the Atari 8-bit library with their games, and Blinky is a late-era platform collecting adventure with nice graphics and effects that, while not being a great game overall, will please action platform craving Atari owners. Fantastic Soccer from 1989 was given 7 out of 10 by Atari Mania fans. Page 6 liked it a lot and called it, well, fantastic. I really like footy games and find the graphics well presented, but this Kickoff 2 style game really needs 2 human players to be fun. The computer is just a little too good and doesn't have to deal with the joystick. I did have fun though, trying to find the best places and angles to shoot. Just a few more sounds and a little more polish and this could have been a full price release in the early 80s. Jocky Wilson's Compendium of Darts was released in 1991. Atari Mania fans give it a 7.6 out of 10. Page 6 magazine said it was very good for darts fans. This is the second Jocky Wilson game for the Atari 8-bits, and this edition is miles ahead of the first, but it's still just darts. So is it any good? Yes. Ian Copeland, who programmed many of the better Zeppelin Atari 8-bit games, along with sound designer Adam Gilmore, teamed up with graphic artist David Taylor to produce a treat for the eyes and ears. But is it playable? Well, yes, kind of. I only know 501 Countdown darts, so I played that, and it's fun, but the problem with darts on a computer is that they have to make aiming and throwing much more difficult than in real life, so control is a slight problem. I had fun though. Las Vegas Casino was one of the first Zeppelin Atari 8-bit releases in 1988. Atari Mania users have given it a 6.5 out of 10 rating. CV&G magazine reviewed the Commodore 64 version and called it colorful and addictive, and said those who enjoy gambling games should be in their element here. I can attest to the fact that the Atari 8-bit version is just as well crafted with nice graphics and sounds as the Commodore 64 version. And while the controls are not as intuitive as they could be, luckily the manual is at Atari Mania. I enjoyed blackjack and roulette, and craps was fun for a bit, but I had no idea how to play baccarat even with the controls clearly explained in the manual. The Living Daylights is a 1989 release that Atari Mania users have only given a 6 out of 10. Page 6 called it excellent, Atari user called it worth the price, and Atari Magazine in German said The Living Daylights is a high-class shooting game with some excellent graphics and animation. I don't think there is another game quite like Living Daylights in the Atari 8-bit library. It's supposed to be a James Bond game, and the Atari user review clearly states that the 8 levels do coincide with the film. I'll take their word for it. But really, it's just a fun little unique 8-level non-budget, it was $9.95, running scrolling shooter. It's a little like Contra mixed with Operation Wolf, where you must run and fire into the parallax scrolling screens at baddies, aiming with a crosshair. It has to be played to be fully understood. Mountain Bike Racer, also known as Mountain Bike Simulator, from 1989, was given a 7.7 out of 10 by Atari400mini users. Page 6 magazine called it very good, and Retro Game Reviews gave it 80%, calling it highly addictive. Not to be confused with Codemaster's Pro Mountain Bike Simulator, which was released by Alternative Software for the Atari machines, and where 2 players compete at the same time. This Zeppelin release is only for a single player. This is no Excite Bike, where you can go as fast as possible, because each obstacle must be negotiated at the correct speed, and if you do well, you'll earn money and buy more gear. But if you don't, you'll crash. A lot. It's probably very fun once you understand the controls and memorize the courses, but I had a lot of trouble with it. Ninja Commando, released in 1989, was given a 7.2 out of 10 by Atari400mini users. Page 6 magazine called it excellent, while the video game critic gave it 16%, saying that Ninja Commando looks good from a distance, but if you're looking to hone your ninja skills, there are far better alternatives. To say that Ninja Commando is difficult is an understatement. It employs the worst of the worst in Euro platform unfairness. Cheap deaths, enemies that come out of nowhere, and level design that is far too difficult. So why do I keep playing? It's fun to look at, and when you finally figure out some of the levels, you can have a lot of fun with it. And once you obtain the machine gun, you'll be having a real blast. Stack Up was released in 1991 and so far has received 7.6 out of 10 from Atari400mini users. Page 6 magazine liked it a lot, especially because there was no official Tetris for the Atari 8-bits. Stack Up was called a Tetris clone back then in 1991, but it's really more of a columns clone, where you must stack falling sets of blocks that are always 3 in a horizontal row, unlike columns, which are vertical. When the stacks create vertical, horizontal, or diagonal groups of 3, they are removed. You've probably played a million games like this, but not on the Atari 8-bit, and it's a fun version. There are 22 levels, 4 types of blocks, and cool chain reaction bonuses. Wow, that was really fun. And Zeppelin certainly did a lot with the Atari 8-bit machines. Most Atari 8-bit fans in the USA would have seen their machines withering and almost completely dead by 1988. But companies in the UK like Zeppelin were doing their best to push the machines as budget gaming destinations with graphics and sound that rivaled the best of the classic Atari 8-bit era. Okay, that's it for this time. Until next time, have fun playing budget 8-bit games from the company of your choice, on the machine of your choice, in the vertical blank.
We were children of the Silicon Revolution, an X generation conscripted to fight the console and home computer wars. A product of an analog 70s childhood, we came of digital age in the 80s, believing we could affect the world 8 bits at a time. Armed with joysticks, full-stroke keyboards, Jolt Cola, and MTV haircuts, we proceeded into the vertical blank. There, we stayed up late at night, devising incantations from D&D rulebooks and beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Video games were the match, and programming was the fuse, as the infinite possibilities of the digital world exploded into the internet age to come. We are Generation Atari.
Into the vertical blank.